Thank you very much for having me, and apologies for coming late. I guess I just came at the nick of time. Sorry, I was out of town, and when the director contacted me and said, this program was happening, I said, wherever it is, I will try to be here. Because I love to have conversations with our young people. With all that is going on, in the world now, with all that is going on around the world, I'm sure you all will agree with me that discussions about the well-being of our youngsters, is something that cannot be overemphasized. I don't know how many of them are graduating today, but I want to talk about, reconnecting with our purpose. How many of them? 39, mashallah. Okay, our purpose in life, a lot of people talk about finding your purpose. Or for some people, they'll tell you that I knew my purpose from beginning. Other people will tell you I found my purpose in life, much later. But the truth of the matter is, our purpose in life has always been one and the same. And that is to serve our Creator, isn't it? In whatever way we think we can serve and please our Creator, I think we have to always keep that at the forefront, of our thoughts and our, mind. The world we live in today, I'm glad, she said something which was actually going to be in my talk. The world where we're raised as parents no longer exists. Our parents raised us for a world that no longer exists. It would be therefore very unrealistic for us to expect our children to key into the kind of life we were raised up to lead. The fundamentals remain the same, which are honoring your parents, serving the Almighty, but the in-betweens are not the same. So please, first of all, I would like to say that there is it's never late. It's never too late for us to connect with our children. This is for the parents. I will come back to, the graduating students. For some of us, you find out that, we say we're not that present in their lives when they were younger. There's always a time to get back to that. There's always room for us to listen to them when they say things like, I'm going through a lot. We should never wave them aside. We should never minimize their feelings when they say things like, I am depressed. Depression is real. A lot of people are succumbing to depression. It is real. And it's not something that we should be ashamed of. It's not something that we should hide or sweep under the carpet. It is an illness. The same way hypertension, diabetes, asthma are illnesses. Depression, anxiety, PTSD are illnesses. So I always say that how many of us wave it aside when someone comes to us and says, I went to the hospital and my blood pressure was high. We empathize. Even though a few of us will still ask questions and say, what were you thinking of? What are you thinking about that is making you worried, that is giving you high blood pressure? We need to understand that it's not just worry that causes hypertension. So the same way, many other factors contribute to physical illnesses. Many factors contribute to mental illnesses. One of the key things is adverse childhood experiences. Adverse childhood experiences, the experiences we had growing up, experiences we had as children, experiences we continue to encounter in life. These graduating students are at a phase in their life that is key, to us as mental health practitioners. A lot of mental health illnesses express themselves at this age. May Allah protect us all from any form of illness, whatsoever. But the reality remains that not all of us will go through life unscathed with a form of trial or not. So please, let's listen to these children. Let's hear them. Let's try to listen to what they are saying and what they are not saying. Let's try to support them. Because what does it do for us? They come to us first when they have challenges. Let's not give them room to learn on the streets. They are at a vulnerable stage of their lives. For the graduating students, I would like to talk about the power of gratitude. At whatever stage we are in life, let's always harness the power of gratitude. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, thank me and I will give you more. How many of us know someone who would love to go to school but has no opportunity? How many of us know people that have started but could not be here today? So again, how many of us have gone to meet our parents to say thank you for the opportunity? Because the average youth of today has a sense of entitlement. Your parents have done what they owe you, and they're still doing that. So they owe you basic amenities of life, which is shelter, feeding, clothing, education. Once you get to a certain stage, anything your parents do or your guardians do is extra. And that is the thing we need to realize. Because a lot of times I see patients and they tell me, my father only gives me XYZ as pocket money. How many of us as parents had allowances, weekly allowances? I never heard of that till I started working. Like you're at home and you have weekly or monthly allowances, like seriously. So you have the average young person saying, I only have XYZ amount as allowances. I think for anything you get at a certain point, you should see it as extra. These people are not sleeping every day. When you think they're strong, they have their quiet moments, they have their low moments too. They have their sleepless nights, they have times when they're worried about the next school fees. You know, they're the government schools, they didn't put you there. They decided to take you to Great Heights Academy. It doesn't come, it doesn't come free. It comes with a price. Challenges that we're likely to encounter. We're finishing high school. This is the moment of freedom. This is the time we go to higher institutions. This is the age of experimentation. This is the age where we feel free and ability to fly. Please and please, let's fly with caution. Most importantly, let's pass through school and allow school pass through us. Because what happens is, I want to only face my academics. And then you find out that, to a large extent, life passes you by, and at the time when you're supposed to settle, or you're expected to settle, then that's the time you want to do things that you should have done when you're young. And what are the things you should do when you're young? Do things that you're proud to say I did. So I always give this example. If someone calls you and you don't pick up the phone, let's say it's around Zuhur or around Asr, we're quick to say, sorry, I'll say my prayers when you call me. Because it's something we're proud of at any time, isn't it? If we're doing something that is not very honorable, it's either we'll avoid that call, or we'll have to think of a lie or an excuse to explain that period of unavailability. So I think the most important thing for us is to be able to be accountable to self. At the end of the day, what do I want to be known for? What is my purpose on earth? But how do I want to be known? So a lot of times people call me and they say, Dr. D, I know you're very busy. For some people it's a good thing, for me it's not a good thing. Because I sit down and I do a self-analysis and I say, this is busy. I know that I'm always busy, okay, I'm always seeing patients, or I'm always, doing one form of charity work. It's a good thing. But is that what I want to be remembered for, being busy? Because the first person says it, second person says it, and I'm like, is it a good thing? So I have to do a self-analysis, but that's for me, right? Is it a good thing that before anyone gets, let's say an appointment, they have to ask and ask, and I'm like, at some point, I won't be there. So does that mean that these people will not see another clinician? What do I want to be remembered for? Do I want to be remembered for good things that I did? Let's try to make positive change wherever we are. So if I'm in a place, whether I'm volunteering, whether I'm working, whether I'm in a discussion group, Let it be that when I'm leaving that little environment, people say, we hate to see you go. Because honestly, we won't miss you. There's a generic one that people say, oh, we'll miss you, not because they mean it. But the truth is, we know what impact we have made. So accountability to self. Let's always remember where we come from. Let's remember where we're going. Temporary pleasures of life always have long-lasting bitter effects. Anything that you see that the gratification is just for now, question it again. And that goes for a lot of things. Drugs, sexual indiscretion, talking anyhow, because I feel I'm angry and I just want to let it out. The consequences are not always desirable. So there's always a reason. We all know the issue of drugs in the world today. There's always an excuse. Oh, I can't sleep. I just needed to take it to shut down for the weekend. Oh, I just needed to take it because I needed to stay awake to read. It sounds honorable, isn't it? But I needed to read. I have a test, so I needed to mix XYZ to stay awake to read. But the truth is, addiction does not tell you, hello, I'm coming. Start to slow down. Usually we realize it after it has happened and it's difficult to get out of it. The best treatment or the best cure for addiction is not to start. So please, let's be mindful. School gatherings, social gatherings as young people, be mindful of your drinks, be mindful of your snacks, because now the world is a lot more scary than the world we lived in. Your served cake, they could have drugs inside. Your served drinks, you don't know what is made of. You have a drink, you can't leave your table with your drink unattended. Especially for the young ladies. It is actually a scary world. And the truth is, anything that happens, for some reason you get to be blamed. What were you doing there? How were you dressed? Before anyone starts thinking of how much your experience is impacting your health or your mind, you would have been made to feel worse. So please, for every day, we need to be very intentional. How do we get to be intentional? For every day we wake up in the morning, let's remember, what is my goal for today? And I always say it, the smarter your goals, the easier it is for you. Because we can wake up and say, oh, my goal is to be a mechanical engineer. I want to be the most successful engineer in Nigeria or in the world or in Africa. It is a goal. But how are we going to work towards it today? What am I going to do today towards that dream? So please, let's take this goal. You wake up in the morning, set your goals and make them smart. And what does SMART stand for? Simple, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So for example, I wake up this morning and I say, my goal for today is not to engage in idle talk. So it is simple. All I'm focusing on is idle talk for today. So is it measurable? It is measurable because I said just for today. Is it achievable? So you look at it depending on what goal it is you're setting. Is it realistic? Is it something that is workable? And is it time-bound? Time-bound means I'm just saying for today. So that means at the end of today, I can do an evaluation to see how well I did. Or I can stand up and say that for today, I am not going to attend any party. For example, so it is simple, it is measurable, it is achievable, it is realistic, it is time-bound. For today, I'm not going to accept any snack that, is not trusted by me or was not brought from home, for example. Because a lot of times, it's actually pathetic when someone finds themselves addicted because of situations they knew nothing about. So you find them struggling. You find families struggling. You find loved ones in pain. And then it's difficult to explain that I didn't know. I just found myself going back to my that snack till I started asking myself what actually is in this snack, and then I found out what it was, and I found out that there's a certain way it makes me feel. So please, please and please, our purpose, pleasing our Creator, honoring our parents. We have dreams and aspirations, but we also have the expo, isn't it? Honoring your parents improves longevity, isn't it? What's the only thing that can change your order? Dua. We know that it's easy for us to say whatever it is I'm going to become, it has already been ordained by the Almighty. But the truth of the matter is, the same Almighty said the only thing that can alter that is dua. So how do we nurture our overall wellness? So wellness is not only about dieting, exercising, sleeping on time. All those are dimensions of the physical wellness. There are still 7 other dimensions of wellness that we all have to nurture. And that is even, as said by scientists. But when we look at it, even spiritually, it has already been mentioned. So we have the mental wellness, we have financial wellness, we have social wellness, we have spiritual wellness, we have environmental wellness. So we have responsibilities everywhere. How much do we keep in touch with kin and kin? We have to nurture that from both ways, the children and the parents, such that if there is a pattern, when I stop hearing from my loved one, it seems odd, so I'm able to check in on time. Because the next best thing to not having a problem at all is intervening early. So please, as we go into the wider world, let's remember that it is a jungle out there, and that is the truth. It is a jungle. Some things you hear, they are actually unfathomable. Some things we hear in the therapy room are things that you can only imagine. So our habits, our core values, because our core values generally inform what our boundaries are. What are the things that mean a lot to me? What are the things I want, what are the values I want to uphold? Because they will set my boundaries. It means they will help me draw the line between what I will do and what I will never do. Is integrity important to me? That means no matter what, it's better for me to get that C grade than to cheat and get an A grade. Why am I so keen on the A grade? Is the reason for my degree just to prove that I graduated with the first class, or that I actually have the knowledge? So please, for us as parents, working with our teachers, working with their lecturers is very important. Sometimes the lecturers are the first people to actually flag up concerns about our children. Let's try not to deny, let's listen. We should always listen, to understand. Because sometimes we just listen to respond. When someone says something, we're already on the defensive. No, it can't be my child. The truth is, we can't know them 100%. There's a limit to what we can do. The rest is in the hands of Allah. We just escort them with dua. Isn't it? But we should nurture our children in such a way that no matter how ugly it is, they're able to come and bow down their heads and say, I am sorry, Mom, I'm sorry, Dad, but I did it. I have a patient like that, and the father says, no, I told him, and that's how the boy is. If he kills someone today, you come and tell him, Dad, I'm not proud of it, but I did it. At least let me know that you did it, and then let me tackle it. But if you tell me you did not do it, and I'm going out raising my shoulder saying my son did not do it, and I find out that you did it, the consequences are better imagined. And that is one thing again. How able are we to practice contingency management, is what we call it. Rewards and consequences. We're very quick to reprimand our children. We hardly tell them well done. And that is the truth. Telling them well done when they do something positive reinforces that positive behavior. I'm proud of you. How many of us, tell them, Allah, may Allah bless you. I really am proud of you. It stays. Because that is the truth. In a lot of treatment, even in mental health, thank you for coming for your therapy. That patient will want to come tomorrow. As basic as it sounds, it's actually scientifically proven. But when someone makes a mistake, we're happy to spend the next 1 week reprimanding that child, because our expectation is that that child should know that the only option is to do the right thing. Are we perfect ourselves? We should always also acknowledge our own limitations and our shortcomings. We have children that ask questions now. My 8-year-old daughter will say, "Mom, I didn't like the way you spoke to me." And I actually don't wave that aside. I actually try to listen. How did I speak to you? First of all, you hissed, and you keep teaching us not to hiss. I can decide, to take the anti-monia, I can do anything, but I'm enforcing a behavior. It's okay for me to say it, or it's okay for me not to do it, not to practice it. And that's the generation we're facing. How, at that time, will I ever be able to tell my mom, "I didn't like the way you spoke to me," like really? It will never happen. I cannot even think about it. But then they will tell you, they will ask you questions. Let's try to feed their curiosity. Because nature abhors vacuum. Nature, general, wherever there's a vacuum, nature will fill it with whatever, good or bad. So both ways, we have responsibilities. Our purpose in life is for us to remember the ultimate goal. What's our ultimate goal at the end of the day? Because this is a transition, isn't it? Our ultimate goal, whatever it is we want to be, whatever it is we want to ever achieve, at the end of the day, there's an ultimate goal, which is for the Creator to be happy with us, for us to end in Jannah, isn't it? So as we start the next phase of our journey, my prayer is that Allah will go before you to clear your path, go with you to guide you, go behind you to protect you, and be with you in every phase of the way. For all the parents, may Allah continue to provide for you. May Allah continue to make it easy for you. May these children continue to be the coolness of your eyes. May we forever have reasons to celebrate them. May we never have cause to see them in negative light. May we always remember that the same way we are not perfect, we shouldn't expect these children to be perfect. We have a role, we have a duty over them, and they also have a duty to us. Please and please remember, freedom does not mean that you're unanswerable to anyone. For as long as you're under the authority of your parents or your guidance, you're still answerable to them. And the ability to submit to a form of authority actually takes care of a large percentage of the problems. Because life itself comes with its code of conduct. What we should do and what we should not do. So for everywhere we find ourselves in life, we should always align, to the authority. The things that come good are usually not very palatable and not very sweet. But at the end of the day, the rewards are more long-lasting. May Allah guide and bless us all. For everything I've said right, I attribute it to the grace of Allah. For everything I have said wrongly or inappropriately, I seek His forgiveness. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.